Mike Tyson say after working out with Chris Hemsworth?
This is a joke, not a true story.
This is a joke.
Okay.
Well, they might have worked out together. No.
What did he say?
You're going to be Thor in the morning. That's actually decent.
Man, the best Mike Tyson video I saw was when he said
I broke my back.
He's like, what do you mean you broke your back? Spinal.
It's spinal.
Would you do that to his face?
Huh?
Would you say that to his face?
Now?
Yeah.
Not now.
What do you mean now? Yeah.
If he had come in and do an interview and
I still
You'd make fun of his lisp in front of him.
No, I'm not. I'm saying what he said.
Oh,
well,
I'm making fun of
the
people.
scariest thing I've ever heard anybody says when they asked Mike Tyson, who's like one person you want to fight, and he looked directly in the camera and said Achilles.
Yeah, that's when you say stuff like that. Well, to me, it's again like if I was elected mayor of one of these big metropolitan cities, I'd put the crime rate down by like 90%. I'd just have Mike Tyson walk around with a bat with spikes on it.
I would just put a bat signal up, not be a Batman. Just put the signal up. No one will really know.
Yeah.
No, just put the signal up in the sky.
That's what I thought Commissioner Gordon should have done that after the Dark Knight when he rode away.
Always put it up there.
I actually,
like
all
that.
joking aside, don't hate
Not a bad idea.
All right, the Yankees are the best team in baseball. There, I said it. Former NFL star Patrick Willis sits down with the crew, and we break down the first matchup between Paolo Banchero and Jabari Smith. I'm Jake Crane. It's Flame and Dragon Friday, and welcome to Crane & Company, people. Let's get it going. As much as this pains me to say as a Braves fan, the Yankees may legitimately be unstoppable. They've shown up to this point to be a complete team in all facets. Aaron Judge has become the jury and executioner at the plate. Rizzo's attacked the right side more than the Young Turks. And Nestor, Jamison Taillon, and Garrett Cole have combined for 24 wins already. Oh, and Clay Holmes has more saves than David Hasselhoff on a beach. And their win over arch rival Boston last night puts them 15 games up in the AL East. And it's looking like, even after the All-Star break, they're going to be able to put it on cruise control the rest of the way. Now, we always say on the show that the best teams are the ones that can beat you in multiple ways. And that is exactly what they are doing. Now, the Yankees have always had, and they will always have, big names, as they're the biggest brand in baseball. But rarely has their Frankenstein experiment worked out so well so early. Now, this New York team seems to really enjoy playing with one another. And when you combine immense talent with a great clubhouse vibe, you've basically cracked the code. Now, I know we aren't even in the All-Star break yet, but I do not know how you couldn't see the Yankees as the favorite to win the World Series right now. Manager Aaron Boone continues to be one of the coolest guys in Major League Baseball because the players know that he has their back. He understands what they want from a manager. And while there was a little speculation about his future before the season, I think we can go ahead and put that to bed now. There's a long way to go, but the Yanks have seemingly figured out who they are and how they play. And that combination is more dangerous than Amber Heard in a mattress store. So, on that note, Cone, let's go ahead and bring you in real quick, bud.
Hit the...
Yeah, and as a Braves fan, just hit it. Just hit the button.
Here we go.
Oh, somebody kill me, please.
Hey, I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen eventually. I just hope that the Braves get all the way to the World Series. They play the Yankees, and I hope the Yankees have the best regular season and postseason run in the history of Major League Baseball up into the World Series.
Look,
and I hope they fall flat on their face.
You've had a lot of great monologues.
Thank you.
You know what? But I'm going to sit here and say that's the best one by far.
Why? Now, why would you say that?
Congratulations on such a great monologue. What do you mean? Because you're right.
I mean, again,
He's right on a lot.
We all are fans
Why do you
of
like
somebody,
this one
right?
so much?
Because he's right. I don't know if he's never been more on point on a monologue than he's been on this one.
Well, you look at their team, and again, like I've said, they've always had big names, right? We've looked at the Yankees, and they're going to spend basically the most. Them and the Dodgers, they're going to roll that payroll up. They're going to bring in big names. But I mean, you look. I mean, Anthony Rizzo right now, I believe he has 22 home runs. Aaron Judge has 30. Judge is hitting 287. His OBP is 387. The guy is a monster at the plate. I mean, Blaine calls him Reptar. That's what he is. He's 100% Reptar. But it's not just him. They are playing good baseball. It's not just slugger ball. They're not beating teams in one way. They are actually beating teams on the mound, in the field, in the dugout, and at the plate. And to me, that is such a dangerous combination. And I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. I mean, Michael King, that dude has more holds than Vanderbilt's left tackle when they play Alabama. So when you put all that stuff together and the depth that they have, it's really hard for me not to pick the Yankees.
First of all, the analogies are really rolling today, sir.
Well, it's Flaming Dragon Friday.
Yeah,
I'm bringing the heat.
Friday.
Damn right it is.
But I know you got a good night's sleep. Seems like you ate breakfast. You're hot. You're on a good
I
one
appreciate
today.
that, Cone.
But take our fandom for the Braves out of it. Have you given up so early on the Blue Jays? I mean, how about the Dodgers? Or take the team that the Yankees haven't been able to get over the hump for like the last 7 seasons now, really, the Astros.
Baseball's a funny sport. It's unbelievably hard to predict. There's so many moving variables compared to other sports. Anything can happen when you get in the playoffs. Whether it's wild card, whether you win the division, baseball is just kind of streaky like that. It's how it works. But I do feel like this Yankees team doesn't just have power at the plate. They have staying power with the way that they play. Again, if they're a one-trick pony, I don't care if it's a hell of a trick. Then that's one thing, but they're not. Again, I love the pieces that the Blue Jays have. You never know, and there is a long way to go. Am I trying to jinx the Yankees? I don't know. Maybe a tad. Maybe just a tad. Maybe just a tad. But I as somebody who obviously hosts a sports show, like I said, we're all fans of somebody, but you have to recognize greatness when you see it. And I don't let any bias toward a certain team get into the way of how I feel. I use Auburn as an example. I got them going 7-5. I'm harder on Auburn than anybody. I got Alabama win the national championship.
Same with
so you
me.
can call me a lot. You can call me a lot, but when it comes down to predictions and trying to see, trying to forecast what's going to happen, I'm going to call them how I see it, unlike Angel Hernandez.
Well, it's a rare combination of starting pitching, bullpen, and power at the plate that they have. But,
Well,
it is
I
early.
think
It
a lot
is
of people
early,
don't give them
Blaine.
credit, but their defense is phenomenal.
It's really good.
Their defense is phenomenal, and their pitching. They have all the keys. They have all the players. They have all the tools. But can you do it? All right? Can you do it when it matters? Because anything less than a World Series championship is a failure for this team. And you better lock Aaron Judge up. You better, because someone's going to come to the door with bags of money. Bags of money. This man's on pace to hit 60 bombs. 60 tanks. That's hard to do in a video game. Pay this man his money.
Oh, no, they're going to pay him. But the Yankees, it's always championship or bust. But I do want to see, we're going to get Patrick Willis in here in 1 second. What does the Booster Club say about it? Am I getting roasted for saying something good about the Yankees? Because I can just...
Yeah, well, the first thing I saw realistically was how much did, Jessica Grant says, who's paying Jake $10 million to root for the Yankees?
Oh, Jessica, I love where your head's at. You can try and Da Vinci code this whole thing. But after last night, after Josh Donaldson, speaking of Auburn, comes in, hits the grand slam, it's just like one thing after another. There is no off at bat for the Yankees, and they just apply so much pressure on you. And in baseball, eventually over a 9-inning game, when you have 18 minutes of action, that pressure is going to burst the pipe. And that's what the Yankees have done, whether it's by 1 run. I saw them beat the Pirates. I know that's some, again, that's not saying anything great.
Win's a win. Celebrate all
Win's a
wins.
win. I saw them beat the Pirates, so bad the announcer for the Pirates about started crying. So, I've got to recognize greatness.
All right, 2 things here. Hiking Elevated says, wait, is Blaine a Yankees fan?
Yes, he is.
Trader, a hashtag chop on. Been a Yankees fan my whole life.
Hashtag fake fan.
Hashtag not a fake fan. Hashtag I make the hashtags. Hashtag. All right, Cody Nason 95. Hashtag Ask Crane Boys. Is it good for the MLB if the Dodgers and Yankees meet in the World Series?
Of course it is. It's 2 of the biggest brands in baseball. And it's not like it's been like the Dodgers and Yankees going back and forth, for interstellar domination when it comes to Major League Baseball. You've had multiple teams win it. And that's what makes baseball so much fun to me. And that's why when, kind of baseball gets attacked, or maybe the method of even college baseball, how you get to the College World Series, we need to change it. Or people talk about Major League Baseball, there's too much parity. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. I think parity is always good for a sport, especially when you have markets that Major League Baseball does have. But I think it's good every now and then to have the 2 titans go at each other, the Dodgers and the Yankees. Now, as a Braves fan, that makes me want to throw up more than if I drank a gallon of Epcac, but I can also live in the real world.
Okay, Kyle Kennedy, what's up, Gal?
Yeah.
All right, the American League doesn't want the postseason to have to go through the Bronx. Yankee Stadium is the best home field advantage in the MLB. You're damn right, Kyle.
Well,
If
you're hitting left-handed, it's an advantage for everybody. I could literally chew up a piece of gum, roll it in some chew, and throw it over the right field fence.
But they're pretty good on the road, too.
Yeah, you're playing at Felton Little.
Well, they're winning on the road, too. So
Again, I'm saying in the playoffs, if I'm going to play in the Bronx and I'm a left-handed hitter, you can have all the fans in the stands you want, but it's a popcorn stand in there and right. I'm dipping and ripping. I'm diving and yanking. I'm trying to hit that thing over the 205-foot fence in right field, but everybody has to play on it. Everybody has to pitch on it, but I wouldn't totally freak out about going to the Bronx, especially if I'm a left-handed hitter.
All right, Jay Hudson reflection. Blaine's a Yankees fan. Jake is a Braves fan. Cone is a
Braves fan.
Yes.
Braves
Tell
fan.
the people, all right? Make sure the people know.
You know.
Hey, you know
That was really good,
You don't
David.
appropriate anybody's
and,
culture.
and we know that that's in Blaine's blood, too. He just, something happened. I don't know what you did to him.
Look, Blaine is a natural-born contrarian.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that's
Fair
okay.
enough. The
You
younger
need that.
brother syndrome. I
Yeah,
get
you-
it.
The
need
younger
that.
brother
Yeah.
syndrome.
You
wanna
had
know
to
how
go
I
off
became
to
a
the
Yankees fan?
Yankees at a young age.
You want to know
You
how
know
I
what?
became
It's
a Yankees
good.
fan?
It's good.
Do you want to know?
I do want to know.
Okay, funny story. I can't. Long time ago, when I was a wee lad, I was watching my dad watch a Yankees game. Hated him. Just every pitch, something boom, something boom. So in my head, I was like, you know what? I am now a Yankees fan.
Just like that.
I believe
Just
they
like
call that I think they call it sociopathic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
something
I
go
think
with
that's
that.
the word for it.
But we have a lot of Yankees fans, so I'm glad that they can connect with you.
Look, and like I said, we talk about everybody.
I love,
But
to get connected.
speaking about talking to everybody, one of my favorite players ever to watch, former Ole Miss linebacker, 49ers linebacker. We're down at the Senior Bowl with Patrick Willis, and we had a heck of a conversation with him again. You want to learn how to play linebacker? This is the guy to watch. And I tell you what, he gave us a little hint. If you're a young linebacker out there, if you're a linebacker coach out there, this is the guy you want to listen to. Patrick Willis, everybody, one of the best in the business. Excited to bring on Ole Miss legend, NFL standout, one of my favorite guys to watch play in general, let alone the linebacker position, Patrick Willis. Patrick, thanks for coming on, my friend.
Thanks
Like
for
I said, I really enjoyed watching you, and congratulations on all the success and the induction. But while I got you, I got to talk a little linebacker.
Let's do it.
Watching you read, watching you you've never had any false steps. There wasn't a lot of false movement. What were you a read through the triangle guy, or were you kind of more of a reading the motion, reading the movement, and then kind of going just off instinct?
Great question. When I first, actually, before I got here to Senior Bowl, before I got to Senior Bowl week, I would read the running back. So I was growing up, they always teach you, man, back, eyes on the running back,
Yep.
eyes in the backfield on your back. And I came here with that same mentality. I mean, that's from high school to college. That's how I had played the middle linebacker. So I get here my first day of practice, and Coach Singletary is one of the best defenders, one of the best linebackers that ever played the game. And I remember getting in our drill, and we were doing drills, and I was doing everything I normally do, and I just know he'd be like, Mississippi, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like that. Yeah, he wasn't calling by a name. He was one thing I learned later on. You had to earn that right. But long story short, I was trying to. I mean, he just kept getting on me, and then I got frustrated because I'm not used to. Every time I'm doing something, he getting on me. I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Am I not where I'm supposed to be? And he was like, no, son, what are you looking at? I'm like, well, I'm looking at the running backs, looking at their steps and da da da. And he was like, no, son, you got to read the lineman.
Yep.
To the running back, yeah.
It's like seeing the beach through the forest.
Yeah. And I was like, wait, huh?
Yeah.
Like that. So long story short, I remember that week working on it, and then I was then being drafted by them. I had them, and I began to really understand how to key the guards to the running back, and before you know it, it made my world a whole lot easier.
Yes, sir. It's amazing. You beat him to the punch.
Yeah,
So
you can.
I do want to ask, one of my favorite plays, and I've watched a ton of football, one of my favorite plays, and I'm trying to remember the LSU running back who it was. I think you know what I'm talking about. When you stuck him at the goal line. Maybe one of the greatest form tackles I've ever seen. I think you had a club on your hand, and you lifted him up and you dumped him. But the thing, Patrick, watching your technique and your effort gets you through the door. You should never have to be questioned about effort. But your technique was so good. How much did you work on that? The little thing, the not false stepping, the getting in the right stance, making it the same every time so you can react.
Yeah, it said the best form of practice is repetition, and it's doing it over and over and over. And then playing this game, you learn real fast that it's the game of inches.
Yeah.
And that, any off, movement and whatnot, it's a first down or a touchdown. And so, as a defender, everything counts. I'm the type of person, I don't want to give them nothing. So in everything I learned that, you got to have your fundamentals and you have to have your techniques, and no matter what, those can never go out the door. And if you carry those with you, no matter where you are, you can use them. And so for me, it was just a lot of working at it and just wanting to be exact. And then speaking of that tackle, it was Justin Vincent.
It was Justin Vincent.
Yeah,
There we go.
which at the College Football Hall of Fame, him and I actually spoke about that last year. But what made that play so interesting was, speaking of, I made a call, but our front was lined up wrong, and I noticed the front was lined up wrong because where I was lined up, and I was like, wait a minute. And as the captain of the defense, one of the captains of the defense, one of the generals of the defense, I knew it was on me to make sure no matter what, if something don't go right, I'm not the one to point the fingers. It's on me, you know. And so at that moment, I made the call, and we was lined up wrong. And the only thing I was thinking is I got to make it right.
Yeah,
and
you do. That's playing that position. You always say you got to make the D line right. You got to make the.
You made it right.
Yeah, I love that.
Man, I want to ask you about the SEC. Every week in the Southeastern Conference, every week is a war, you know, and now it looks like Texas and Oklahoma are going to join the SEC. What are your thoughts on that, and what do you expect from them when they come into the conference?
Yeah, the SEC, to me, I feel like is one of the best footballs, one of the best conferences in football. I've always felt that ever since I was young, and then to be able to play in the conference myself, I can validate it. To see these other teams coming in, I smile because, don't get me wrong, like, you know, they do well in that, they've done well in their conferences, but the SEC is a different type of football. I like to say even the lowest of what we call in our SEC play is still good football, and so you know, it's going to be interesting to see those guys come in and do what they do, but at the end of the day, like, I'm sure it's going to be good football.
It's going to add even more firepower, man.
Yeah, speaking of the SEC, let's talk a little Ole Miss football. You know, Lane's there. What do you think is going to be the result of this year with the Ole Miss? You thinking Jackson Dart? I believe it. Jackson Dart, I believe it. I think that they might get over the hump and finish second in the West this year.
You know, I've been able to follow Ole Miss. I've been able to go back a few games over the last couple of seasons, and to see them, to see Lane do what he has done, it's been tremendous and just phenomenal. Like, I don't know him as a coach, but just the vibe that he gives off, I'm like, man, I like that vibe.
That new wave.
I like that vibe, and I say it to say that, you know, when you got a team that believes in their coaches and it's a vibe, you got the players that they want to do everything they can to see the coach succeed. That's an amazing feeling. So I think they're going to do. They're going to do really well.
Well, they've got their identity. They know who they are, and Lane's kind of
players trust Lane.
Go ahead.
And I will say, I'm biased, but I'm a firm believer that defense has to always come with it, no matter what. And I know that they had a pretty good defense last year. The defense played phenomenal well, and they're going to have it again this year. And their main staple was, when watching Ole Miss, it was that quarterback. The quarterback,
Matt Corral,
Man, I was a Corral fan. I was.
Me too.
The rest of us too, man.
I think he's going to beat out Sam
Carolina,
Darnold.
man.
Well, eventually, I think he's going to take over for Sam Darnold.
I thought it was a good. When I saw that he went to Carolina, I smiled because I was like,
Sneaky pick.
Sneaky good pick.
I love it.
Patrick Willis.
And Matt's a gamer, too.
I'll tell you, man, he can play ball, man.
No, he's got some witch in him.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Definitely.
But Patrick, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, my friend. Congrats on the induction. You deserve it.
sir.
I'm just glad you're not tackling my ass.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
I'm glad I'm not hitting anybody
Me
neither,
too.
man.
I'm sliding. I'm sliding.
No, I'm Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I'm sliding.
No, but, all right, we appreciate it. Appreciate you guys as well.
Again, man, one of my favorite interviews, one of my favorite guys to watch. You know, obviously he's a big Matt Corral guy. I can totally understand that. That was before Baker went over there, but just another great interview at the Senior Bowl. We had an unbelievable time. But, you know, hearing him talk about playing linebacker as long as he did and having that much success in college, then you go to the Senior Bowl and one of the greatest linebackers of all time tells you that, hey, you've been looking at the wrong thing this whole time, which is absolutely amazing on how much success you've had. It just goes to show you that once you take that next step, guys like Patrick Willis, while inside he was like, man, why is this guy just getting on me? Why is this guy getting on me? He took that coaching and he trusted that enough to take that and take it to the league. I think it shows you what type of player that Patrick Willis was. But one of the reasons that Patrick Willis, I think, has so much success is that he's as good of a person off the field as he is on the field.
He was talking to us for like another 10 minutes after this interview. He was so cool.
He did.
Scary.
Yeah.
Looked him in the eyes too long.
Well, I just thought
Looked him in the eyes too long. I was just at my bed that night, like, shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, well, again, I thought it's so funny because, you know, you're watching football games and you're seeing plays and you're seeing things develop and it goes like this. And then, you know, you have the guy tell you, we were lined up wrong. Like I had to make up for it. Because you don't, again, if you haven't been in it, you haven't graded the film and you haven't seen kind of how it goes down, there are so many plays that somebody screws up, but it goes right. Or somebody screws up and you never see it. So that's just what makes it fun when you kind of get down into the meat and potatoes. But a great interview there with Patrick. Got some more great ones coming up. But it's time, Cone. Do you want to go rapid fire? Hit the button.
Let's get rapid in here. Let's get rapid in here.
Do it.
Paolo, Banchero, and Jabari Smith Jr. faced off last night for the first time since the draft. We have some highlights. I want to get your thoughts.
I want to say this. I talked about Chet the other day. These guys got to get used to this pace of play. Like, Jabari is not used to this pace of play, like, and how it goes down in the NBA. Paolo had a good game. Some guys, are able to kind of transition quicker to it. Jabari is going to be fine, but it goes to show you how talented this class was and where we are in the state of college basketball. I mean, these guys are coming right out into the summer league, having success. I mean, you're playing the clip, watching Paolo here. The guy's running the show. This is a 6'10" human being. Rolling to his right. He's got more handles than a bicycle store, and then he hits the pull-up three at the top of the key. I mean, again, you're not defending that. If he's able to hit the three consistently, we know he's able to play bully ball. We know that he's able to drive and finish. We know that he can back you down in the basket. But if that jump shot keeps getting better and he becomes a threat from the three-pointer, there's a reason he went number one. But looking at Jabari, I mean, he's got more upside than about anybody I've seen in a while, and he's going to figure it out. And it wasn't like he disappeared. He had like 10, 7, and 3. You're never blocking that.
Yeah.
You're never blocking that. So you had two 6'10" absolute aliens playing last night that are going to be rookies in the league. And if you're the Rockets or you're the Magic, you've got to feel fantastic about where you're at in your future right now.
You probably see more effort on defense in these games than you're going to see in the regular season.
I agree.
So these games would probably be tougher defensively.
Well, they're having to prove themselves.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't worry about either of these guys at all. Jabari still needs to put on some weight, still just like Chet does. But the ceilings for these guys are so high, I still think in 3 to 5 years, these guys are probably going to be in all-star games.
Okay.
I think so. The Magic are going to be a dangerous team, what they have going. And I love watching Jalen Green and Jabari, watch them growing together. It's going to be something. The chemistry, you might as well be in class.
Well, too, I want to say, I was watching Jalen Duran, too, who's 18 years old playing last night, 18 or 19. And that guy is so unbelievably athletic to be that size. I think he is going to be one of the guys that explodes on the scene because he does have touch. We always talk about, to use another sport analogy, we always talk in football about big quarterbacks that have big arms, but they don't have touch. I mean, this guy, he's got feel. He's so explosive. We need to send him to Ukraine. I mean, he's unbelievable watching him play. It really is.
Do you think Banchero will have the best rookie season out of this class?
I'm going Jabari.
I need to see it a little bit more, but again, people will watch one summer league game and be like, oh, Jabari is going to be a bust. It's a totally different game. It's a guard-dominated game. Fully dominated. And again, you're playing against guys that are bigger than you. So you're having to work a little bit harder. You're having to move a little bit more. You're having to get used to it. And it's the first game. You're going to have some nerves. So I think it's a little bit too early for the jury to come back on any of these guys, but it's going to be so fun to watch these talented players keep elevating and keep elevating and keep elevating their game.
Let's move on to LIV Golf, okay? In addition to all the bags of cash these guys are getting, apparently there's a LIV party plane. I thought I saw you on there, Blaine, at some point. I think
What? No, you
we
didn't.
have a video of this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and run it. The
Look
LIV
at
Golf
this
private
thing.
jet. I mean, it's the Soul Plane. It's Soul Plane. Is Snoop Dogg the pilot? I mean, you want to talk about money? The LIV will never be able to last. These guys have planes that are houses with wings on them. I mean, that's what this is. So again, you look at Rory, maybe 200 billion's not bad for the game. But this, to me, goes to show
What
you.
is he doing in the middle?
What? Look, when you're on the LIV Golf private jet,
Dude, why are you walking around holding up a hat? What are you doing? Go sit down and drink something, you weirdo.
No, well, again, what happens on the LIV jet stays on the
No, it doesn't. The whole world's seeing it now.
Yes, it does, David.
You know how many Snapchat stories are probably pulled up in that? Look, that's awesome. That jet is dope, but still, what is he doing? You're walking around with a hat?
But Cone, in all seriousness, are you ready to go ahead and say that the LIV's here to stay? Are you down to say
Look,
that?
like I've said, it'll be a thing for a couple of years, but we won't be talking about it after a year.
I think you are out of your mind.
I've always said it comes down to the majors. Like, it comes down to, if they can play the majors, I don't see it going anywhere. If they can't play the majors, I think expectations are real. It's like people want to be the guy.
You're 100% right.
If they can't play the majors, then you can't do it.
If these guys can go get paid the way they are in LIV Golf and play the major championships and have the prestige, they're a lot more.
Well, you say that, but when the PGA came out earlier and said they're going to get their PGA Tour card revoked, that didn't stop anybody from going over there.
Well,
you still had people going over. Again, I think you got.
It didn't stop a lot of the guys who were past their prime.
Let me ask you this: if you've already won the Masters. If you've already won it, or you've won a couple majors, what's going to stop you from going over there?
Well, it depends on if you think you can win another one. I mean, some of these guys, especially the early defectors, are guys who are past their prime. They are the Premier League stars like Ibrahimovic and David Beckham who want to come over to America. Then we saw Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau, who were really the least surprising defectors of all of them. Then there started to be rumblings of Colin Morikawa. Right? And then there was rumblings of, maybe Jordan Spieth. Now you're getting into that territory of, man, this thing's going to fall apart very quickly. Yeah. But before that happened, the PGA Tour came out and said, we're going to have our own incentives and we're going to increase purses for tournaments next year. So again, I don't know if you're somebody who has won a Masters, like Patrick Reed won a Masters, for instance, but was he going to be in contention to win a lot more? I don't know.
Well, they'll probably let him move the ball wherever he wants to in the LIV.
You think so?
Like, Patrick, you can do it because I ain't looking.
And that's one of the problems too. I think people like a lot of the traditions. You know, that you're being facetious there, but there are these aspects of the LIV Tour where people are saying, whatever it takes to get you over here, we'll do.
Well, you know what I'd do on the LIV Tour? I'd let them use carts. Okay. I'd let them use carts. Why not? To make it better, let them use carts.
Well, again, it comes down to that USFL, NFL thing, right? A lot of the things the USFL did this past spring were really cool.
Yeah.
And even the first iteration of this in the 80s, the NFL adopted some of those. I think like maybe going for two or there were other things too, but there were aspects of the USFL in football this past spring that were really awesome. And we're like, that's cool. That's an extra value add. I think the NFL should consider that. There are going to be things like that maybe the PGA Tour looks at and says, okay, this is a thing that all the players really like. I don't know if driving carts is going to be one of those, but at the same time, just like we're talking about with college football, you start tampering with traditions too much, traditions that help build the sport, everything could fall apart.
That new lasagna tastes a little bit different.
We've mentioned lasagna every day.
I will mention lasagna every day on this show.
All right. Next one, Djokovic advances in 4 sets after dropping the first set today. And of course, Nick Kyrgios didn't even have to play in the semifinal because our boy Nadal is banged up. So it's going to be a Djokovic-Kyrgios final in Wimbledon.
Is Kyrgios a villain?
Huh?
Is he the villain?
Is he the villain, Cone? Is he the villain?
Every sport needs a villain.
He's the worst. Kyrgios is the worst.
Every sport needs a villain.
I just hate it so much because we all wanted the Djokovic-Nadal final. We all wanted, and for Nadal to have to withdraw, you know he had to be hurt. Yeah. It had to be about as bad as it could be. You know, Kyrgios basically was like, I can't sleep at night because I keep seeing the Joker's face. He's like Batman. Like every time he goes to sleep, he sees the Joker's face. Well, you should be nervous because on a Flamin' Dragon Friday, I'm just telling you, buddy, this guy's a dragon. Look at what he's wearing. It's green. The last thing he needs is fire coming out of his breath. Djokovic is going to wipe this guy. He's going to wipe him up. Do his thing with them. I'd be nervous too. You should be a little nervy.
You know, I don't usually pull for Djokovic, but come Sunday against Kyrgios, it's going to be a full force. I might have to get a Djokovic shirt.
Well, you know what they say.
Give me Kyrgios.
What do we say?
See,
the contrarian. That's what I'm saying.
You know what? Go sit.
The villain comes.
Yeah.
Go sit.
The villain.
Don't respect
in
this
this
guy.
movie,
The Yankees are one
this
thing.
movie,
They're one of the greatest franchises of all time.
villain
Don't you
wins.
pull for Kyrgios just to get under our skin. He is not a villain.
Make a
He's
bet.
worse than a villain.
Show bet right now. Put some money on it. Put some money on it.
Show bet right
That's the
now.
odds.
No, it's money line.
it's odds.
It's money line.
Come on.
You said Kyrgios is going to win.
Come on.
It's
You said-
odds. I'll take odds. Why do you want to take odds? Do you want to take odds?
Well, what are they? Give me some
Give me a
odds
second.
It's but you got to take it money line either way.
You look those up while I say a few other things here. My boy Justin Houston signed a 1-year deal with the
Good for
Ravens to
Justin.
come back.
Good for
I texted
Justin.
him yesterday to see if he'll come on the show before the season
that'd be
starts.
nice.
So let's do that. Also, the NHL had their draft. Did you have some info on that?
Yeah, I was surprised. You know, Shane Wright was a guy that, for a couple years they've talked about being the #1 overall pick.
Yeah.
He slides to 4th for the Kraken. Great pickup for Seattle. They missed out on Baker Mayfield in the NFL, but I guess they're going to get Shane Wright. This kid, as a 15-year-old, he had unbelievable numbers. I think he was like the 6th NHL player, OHL player ever to win a certain award. I've actually got it right here. It's unbelievable to look. He actually at 15 years old in the OHL, had the most points, I think, in 56 games, and got like an exemption status, which he's one of only 6 players ever to get that. He's going to be a heck of a player. He's a center. The first pick was a wing. The guy from Slovakia, which I figured out Slovakia and Slovenia are 2 different places this morning,
nice.
which that's interesting.
So why was he sliding so much?
I think they think the ceiling on the number 1 guy's higher. That's what they said.
Like the NBA?
He has all the tools, but not the toolbox.
Yeah.
They think Shane Wright's kind of a little bit of a finished product,
Gotcha.
and that his ceiling may not be as high. They took a gamble, and we're going to see if it pays off. But I mean, he slid down to 4, but it's a nice pickup for the Kraken. Nice
Gotcha.
pickup for the Kraken. Yeah, Blaine, what's it looking like, bud?
These odds would be that bad.
Pulled up to odds. No, you want a Curios? No, plus 330.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You still feeling
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Dang,
Is
you
it a bet?
speechless? They kept you
I can say it. I can say it, but I'm not making a show bet on it.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, well, you're making a bet on it, though.
No, I'm not.
So you're just going to say...
Yeah, I'm going to say he's going to win. Can I not do that? Can I not do that? I can't say
Okay.
something.
Well, you said it with such conviction.
Yeah.
I mean, and you had your
Yeah.
I like
hands
to
like
say things
this.
with conviction.
You know what? Mute button.
Yeah, there it is.
You don't have that. It's not a real thing anymore.
All right, Booster Club, we're going to hit the Booster Club heavy here in the second half. But if you want to watch the rest of the show, head over to thedailydoorwire.com. Become a member. Listen on Apple, Spotify.
Weekly highlight as well.
And we have our best of each week. Hey, make sure you leave a 5-star review. Share it with your friends. Here's the best of this week. You deciding to get a buzz cut live.
Didn't decide that.
I'm
really
just sitting here observing.
Huddy.
Our good friend Gina Carano was fired by the same company, Disney, for saying, don't hate someone for their political views.
Pastoral in your back.
See, I see you got the Ukrainian working over
Look,
there.
the neurons are firing.
It takes courage to say some of the things that I've seen you say recently.
Come on!
Illuminati eye, constellations.
Did you not put out a poll and said you're at the mercy of the Booster Club?
You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland.
Did Justine make that?
Go, yeah, from the mind of myself, of course.
Yes. Whoa. Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Come on, baby. I didn't know that was in there.
That was
That's
the
nice.
surprise.
Let's go. Let's.
Wow.
If you thought that a place was horrible or racist, homophobic, or anti-women, would you accept one of the highest medals that country awards? I would guess not. Like if the Taliban called me today and said, hey, Jake, you just won a medal we want to give you, I would tell them they can go kick rocks. But enter Megan Rapinoe, a person that literally despises America, and she's made that known, a person that bullied her teammates into kneeling for the flag because it helped her rise to superstardom in the eyes of people who are basically anti-American. Yet that girl couldn't get up to the podium fast enough to accept the Presidential Medal of Freedom from the United States recently. If she sincerely felt the way that she talks about the country, then she would have turned down the invite and not accepted it. But that's not what clout chasers and hypocrites like her do. She's basically the wacky, waving, inflatable arm, flailing tooth man you see in front of car dealerships. Whichever way the woke wind blows the hardest, she's going balls to the wall. And for someone who prides themselves solely on identity politics, she actually has no real conviction or no identity. But the problem is bigger than people like Megan Rapinoe. And I'm not talking about the group of 15-year-old boys that dropped them like a bad habit on the pitch a couple years ago. We are now rewarding people for hating America. Being a hypocrite is not brave, courageous, or worthy of one of our nation's highest honors. It only encourages more and more of that type of behavior. And like Megan Rapinoe, these faux heroes are not only a problem for some sports, but they're actually toxic for a society. So ask yourself this. If you hated a place, hated it with all your guts, would you accept an award that they gave you? And if you think Megan Rapinoe cares about anyone else but herself, I got great beachfront property in Kansas. I will sell you for the low. So for Megan Rapinoe and everybody that gives rewards to people that hate the country, this ain't it. and I'm sick and tired of watching it, and I'm sick and tired of her being in the news, but it's just the most contradictory thing. If I said, David Cohn, I hate you. You're a terrible person. You treat people terrible. You're the worst. We'll never get back to where we were as a friendship. And then I'm like, hey, can I come hang out this weekend? How do those two things coexist? How can you possibly coexist? And I hate this for the Mia Hamms. I hate this for the Brandi Chastains. Hell, I hate it for the Hope Solos, that you have to deal with this clown that bases all of herself off of her sexual preference and identity politics. So Megan Rapinoe, to me, I want to look and tell you something. Let me tell you something. Nobody cares. Deep down, they really don't care. They just tell you they do because they have to, because you guys live in this bubble, this echo chamber. But I don't know how you give an award, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, to somebody who hates America. Hell, let's just go ahead and just bring back Lenin. Let's bring Lenin over here and let's give him an award. How about that? Or maybe Osama bin Laden.
John?
Let's give Osama bin Laden an award. It's just unbelievable. We do the dumbest stuff. Like, we really do the dumbest stuff. And when you glorify people like Megan Rapinoe, you create more Megan Rapinoes. And that's the last thing that can happen. It's like watching Oblivion when they made 1 million Tom Cruises and they came down and took the world over. That's what I feel like. I look left, it's Megan Rapinoe, she hates America. I look right, she's draped in the flag, getting a Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Man,
it just blows my mind.
That's a really good point that you made there at the end, because it's so in vogue now to hate America. And when you see behavior like this from a world famous athlete, really, it's only going to create like copycat behavior.
That's exactly right.
To be rewarded. I think the powers that be in our country are thinking, okay, well, we'll give the highest honor we can, and maybe that will decrease the criticism, when all it's going to do is create a double down. Because now you see the squeaky wheel gets the grease sort of theory on this. Is like, well, if I complain the most and hate this country the most, I can get the highest honor, and you're going to see other people like to do that. But I thought we have a clip, right, of her running up there to the
yes, we actually have a clip of Megan Rapinoe going up to get her Presidential Medal of Freeman. Let's run it. Meet me. The road run. She could have got up there fast enough. It's amazing. For somebody who hates it so bad, her and Brittany Griner, they hate America so bad.
There's a trade right there. Megan Rapinoe, Brittany Griner trade.
Ooh.
Whoa.
I mean,
whoa.
Look,
We don't like that?
I don't think that's a bad trade.
You don't like that?
I mean, I don't. Look, there's been some bad trades. I don't think that's a bad trade. What happened to the T-Wolves a couple weeks ago was bad, but I'd take that trade. If I'm America, let's get her out.
I'd take that trade.
Let's do it. All
We
right.
used to give that award for, anyway, I'll move off of
No,
it.
the reward's just slowly
we used to
falling
give that
apart.
award
I mean,
for, some of the highest honors.
yeah, not anymore.
Yeah.
Golly,
not
man,
anymore.
It just makes
No.
me mad. I'm
Well-
glad you touched on it, though.
Well, it's the truth. And
Yeah.
This
Let's don't
flaming
skip
dragon,
over this.
Flaming Dragon
I tell
Friday
you
graphic.
what, I want to give applause to the graphics team here, guys. This is absolutely phenomenal.
yeah, Blaine is.
This is
and
this
Justine,
is now,
nice work.
This is
nice
now
work
my-
back there.
This
Look
is
at that.
now my Twitter pick.
Look at
This
that.
is now going to be my Twitter pick. It's just
Twitter
phenomenal.
pick. You
Well
could hang
done.
that
This is
thing on the wall.
absolutely Just you're an artist.
You are. You guys are
You're an
absolute
artist.
bitches.
That's fantastic.
But maybe it's time to reach. Pull a Blues Clues. Is it mail time?
Mailbag time. We got some leftover mailbags
Let's
here.
do it.
Let's see where we want to go first. Oh, actually, you know where I want to start? I want to start with Seth. I'm going to start with Seth
Good old
Autry
Seth.
here, because he had a comment about Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss.
Okay.
And I thought with Patrick Willis coming on, we should hit on this. Love the show, ! You guys helped push me to finally see the light and become a subscriber to the Daily Wire.
Well,
thank you for
Seth.
sharing that,
He's
Seth.
coming
We love to hear it, okay? I'm a diehard Rebel, but Lane Kiffin feels bigger than Ole Miss. Would you guys take the over or the under for him being the Rebels coach if the odds were set at 2.5 more seasons? Thanks, and keep up the phenomenal work.
I'm gonna say over.
Okay.
And I think Lane deep down is a lot more cognizant about what's going on around him than people give him credit for. And the knock against Lane was that he bounces around so much, right? You remember all the drama, Raiders head coach, then USC, Tennessee, leaves Tennessee. There's all that he can't stay in one place long enough. I think he is proving a point. And I think him and Ole Miss are such a great fit. We talked about Mike Leach and Mississippi State the other day. It is such a great fit to me because he brings relevance to Ole Miss. He has raised the profile of Ole Miss, and he has shown stability Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss has given him as much back as he's given them. I mean, it's a home for him. I mean, they identify with each other. And again, you know, you look at the come to the sip and the way he's handled on social media. Lane Kiffin is actually ahead of the curve. He's ahead of the curve on all this. And I love the fit. Do I think he'll stay there for the rest of his career? No, I don't. But if I had to put an over-under in the next 2.5 years, I would say over. And I really, 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 really like the combination.
I agree with that. I'd take the over. I mean, he could have taken the LSU job.
Yeah.
He's had
Miami,
like he's had chances to go to bigger school. It's just the puzzle pieces fit there. You know, to be honest with you, I really wouldn't be surprised if he finished his career there.
Really?
I really wouldn't be.
Do you think he wants to give the NFL one more shot, or do you think
I don't think so. I really don't. It's just so, the NFL is so spotty when it comes to coaches. Like, Ole Miss loves Lane Kiffin.
They do.
They love it. And Lane Kiffin loves Ole Miss. You can see it by the way he coaches, the way he recruits. The recruits can see it. To me, it's just a perfect fit. It's almost a Sam Pittman, Arkansas-ish thing to me.
I don't know if it's that good.
I don't know about
I don't know.
that.
I don't.
Okay, but it's
weird.
close. Though.
Like if you were to say, first of all, I've been hard on Lane Kiffin, right? I haven't been a fan of some of his behavior at previous stops, and I think a lot of people feel like that. That's why Wilbon went at him last fall. But to see him finally have some stability at a place is a lot of fun to see, because now he gets to do what he's so great at, which is run an offense and run a program and have success. But if you ask me to pin Lane Kiffin on a school that he would be a great fit at, I would never pick Ole Miss. But it's been working. They do love him, like you said. So I do think he'll be there for a little bit, but I don't think he finished his career there, right?
Well, he'd have to go to a big job. What job would he leave?
Well, big. I mean, Ole Miss is a big job. I don't know if it's big, but
LSU's bigger.
He's always going to have, sure, but he's always going to have the NFL in the back of his mind too, I think.
But do you think maybe Lane's a West Coast guy? I mean, he is.
He is.
He's a West Coast guy, and I'm thinking, I'm racking my brain.
I don't know if he is anymore.
You know, what if Washington were to just throw the bag at him or somewhere like that? I wonder if he'd want to get back on the West Coast. It's just, again, though, like we've talked about, I love the fit.
Yeah.
Good question.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Wesley here. When you guys discussed the most loyal fan bases, no one called out the Green Bay Packers. By far, they are the most loyal for multiple reasons. Here are a few. They have sold out every home game since the Lombardi era. If you've seen the Packers in the 70s, 80s, that is something special. The whole city looks like a ghost town during game time. The people that live by the stadium turn their yards into parking lots. They will blindly cheer for almost any team playing any Chicago team, regardless of the sport, because of the hatred of the Bears. The fans are so loyal that they will give the team money for a piece of paper that says they own part of the team.
Well, I think the Packers, and that's a great point. I think the Packers are the closest thing to college football that the NFL has.
Yes.
Again, Green Bay's not Atlanta. It's not Cincinnati. It's not Los Angeles. It's not Dallas. That's who they are. That town is a football town. They are the Packers. And it's not, again, they started the team by giving some money and all that stuff's great. But that town identifies with that team. I mean, you look at LA, you have the Lakers and the Clippers, and you have the Chargers. I mean, and the Rams. I mean, it is truly a football town, and it almost has that college feel. It really, really does. And I think that's what makes Green Bay special. That's what makes Green Bay, Green Bay. I think it is the absolute kind of purgatory between college football and the NFL. And I don't mean that in a bad term. I know purgatory is a pejorative term, I guess you could say. But I think if you're going up the ladder from college to the NFL, right before you get up to the big market cities and stuff like that, you have Green Bay, which is really, really cool. I think it's a cool caveat in the league. And I kind of wish more teams were like that, honestly.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do.
It really is cool. And not to relive this debate, but I'm just reading what Wesley sent in. Also, saying that personalized stickers on a helmet make it the best is the same as saying that Maytag has the best fridges because John has the funniest magnet.
Okay. Number one, very well done. Stickers do count.
That's why you can't be in trouble with the chat.
But it's a personalized sticker. They're not getting stickers that's like baby in the car or something on their helmet. It's like the Buckeye. I mean, it's stuff that's like the team. You earn it to the team. It's not, they're not like, all right, Josh, you get a J for making that tackle. That's I see where you're going. I think you got a little bit off the rails there.
You're spot on.
But I love
spot on, Wesley.
As somebody who loves analogies, I appreciate that.
High five to that.
Decals or stickers?
You guys will like this one here from Colin. The Mountaineer is the best mascot. What other mascot has an actual gun? He shot a deer with it a few years ago. Love the show.
Wait a minute. That's a real gun?
That's what
I
Colin
think there's a way.
No way.
There's
That's what Colin
no way.
says.
I know it's West Virginia, but there's no way. I was about to say, we're going to look at guns. I mean, Oklahoma State's mascot looks like he's about to rob a saloon. So, like, if we're going to talk about mascots with guns, I mean, the Tennessee, I know it's a dog, but they got a guy that runs around. There it is right there. The West Virginia Mountaineer.
thing's a gun,
That
man.
looks like a real gun.
That's a gun.
That's a real gun.
That's a real gun.
What do they mean?
Pretty
he shot
Colin
it?
says,
He said he shot a deer with it on his own time.
I guess so.
I love West Virginia, man.
They don't care.
I love West Virginia.
They don't care at all.
Like it's, I wish, man, and I remember they had. You remember they had Tavon Austin and
Still one of the best highlights you can watch.
Oh my god, his high school highlight. You want to watch somebody not get tackled for about 30 minutes? Go ahead and watch that thing. But
Pat
West
White.
Virginia, I hope it works out for JT Daniel there. I love Neil Brown too, a guy that's local. You know, was at Troy. Really rooting for Neil. Was at Kentucky earlier as well. But I hope West Virginia doesn't get kind of lost in the madness of all this stuff too. They were getting involved in, because you talk about loving football. We can talk about Green Bay. They burned couches.
Yeah.
They burned their own furniture. Imagine, we just got a new house. I just went furniture shopping. I know how expensive furniture is. And I love when my team wins, but not enough to burn it. I mean, they burn it. Good luck to them.
I'd agree.
All right. I like this one a lot here from Quaid. Looking at the 4 big sports, which style of salary cap is the best? My argument is the NHL for the following reasons. Hard salary cap, cannot release, all money is guaranteed, no supermax or franchise tags, penalizing contracts that exceed time when player retires, cannot trade cash for players.
I love it. I was going to say NHL, because I think it makes it as competitive as it can be.
Yes.
I think it's the most competitive way to do it, and I will always be for the most competitive way to do it. I mean, we look now in the NBA. I mean, you know, you got Supermax here, Supermax there. It's like I said, it's the only time you're glad to be heading toward a Supermax anything. So when I look at the way that the NHL puts it together, they're basically saying, all right, you've got to be able to evaluate. You're not just going to be able to go out there and just gobble everybody up and just Frankenstein your way to an unbelievable team. I think you really make the people making the decisions have to be able to evaluate, and they have to be able to build the roster from the top to the bottom and get every inch out of everything they have on the roster. So I'm going to go NHL. I agree.
I like that a lot. And the players' unions in the other sports make it difficult to implement changes, which, look, the players' union, they're there for a reason, right? To get the players more benefits and to pay more money, and I understand that. At the same time, I just hope that doesn't stand in the way of creating competitive leagues in those.
That's exactly right. But again, that's how you get leagues that start getting so top heavy that they almost fall over, and that's terrible for the sport. Well, that's absolutely terrible.
I talk about this with my father-in-law, Richard Todd, right? 11 years in the NFL, and I mean, he's a big proponent of the Players Association because that's his pension, that's his benefits, you know. So we have these conversations a lot because we still want to see what's best for the NFL and MLB and NBA, but at the same time, you know, those players unions are important. So
definitely, Blaine, Booster Club. Told him I was going to show him some love.
We're talking about highlight films in here. All right.
Highlight films.
Yeah. Hunter Thorpe says, you know what's better than Reggie Bush highlights? Blaine getting his head buzzed live on the show.
Which will happen. 50K subs. Do it.
50K.
Do it. Tell everybody. All you got to do is just tell your friend to sub. If everybody told a friend to sub after they sub, we'll do it next week.
Yeah, that's true.
Emmanuel C., the Oregon Duck is the best mascot. Football season is bulking up, and the Oregon Duck does more push-ups than anybody.
Hey, speaking of Oregon, big one with Dante Moore today, the quarterback that they got. Dan Lanning snatches another one. I've been so interested to see how Dan's going to do out there, but they went out and they got a big-time player. He's a big-time quarterback. I know Oregon stays with big-time players, but this kid to me is a little bit different.
All right, M. Hutton says, as an LA sports fan, the Chargers and Clippers are irrelevant.
Are the Chargers irrelevant? I think our friend Philip Rivers would disagree, and the Chargers are going to win the Super Bowl this year because Justin Herbert is from a different planet.
Their D-line's disgusting. All right, David Atkinson says, I love baseball, but it's almost unwatchable until at least August. There are about 100 games too many.
100 too many. I think they should be at 120 games. I think the regular season in Major League Baseball should be at 120 games. I think you'll see less arm injuries because, I mean, you got guys throwing 93-mile-per-hour sliders. On the reg now, that's something that's just normal. By the way, Rob Friedman's such a great follow on Twitter. If you want to watch guys that are really witches, he kind of singles out the pitches. He has his craziest pitches of the week. But the regular season is too long. I think there's some other changes they need to make. And I will say, I am noticing they are really trying to start to push the stars more. They're really trying to start to push the stars more, which is what baseball needs. That's exactly what they need. And to the question earlier, I don't think it'd be bad for baseball to have the Yankees and Dodgers maybe in it this year.
Well, the Braves are a big
No, they are. The Braves are big, but again,
Atlanta's big.
I mean, Atlanta's a big market. LA, that's an even bigger market. I mean, just again, I know you have there's more people in the city of Atlanta there is in the rest of the state of Georgia, but there's heck of a lot more people in LA than there is in Atlanta.
One more question here. So if they shaved 40 games off the regular season in Major League Baseball, would they take it? Do you think they should move that like off the back end and move the World Series up before football starts, or always have it stay the Fall Classic?
I want it to stay the Fall Classic because that's
So you take off the front
what
end?
we're used to. I think you start later.
Okay.
I think you start later. I think you start spring training a little bit later. Because again, the weather's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You're going to end the season the same time anyway. So you're not putting something crazy in where you're going to be playing in snowed out, ballparks and stuff like that. I think you just move it back. You move spring training a little bit back. You can go down to Arizona and do spring later. It's still going to be hot in Arizona a month later. And in Florida a month later. So whether it's a grapefruit league or any of that stuff, just move it back in the front end. Let's get it to 120 games. I think you can add some other things. Now, Blaine wants them to be able to fight during the seventh inning stretch, make the seventh inning stretch great again.
Seventh inning fight.
And you're not saying like
every game, or just the possibility
Well,
if
the
there's
possibility.
a heated run?
I've told you this. It's a duel that you get challenged in a duel, and you can accept or not.
But like
Sometimes-
Shohei's not going to be fighting Aaron Judge.
unless he accepts it.
There's no way that I am letting Shohei, if I'm the manager, I'll go fight him. Let me go fight him.
If
you
Shohei
stay in
wants
here,
to fight him,
they'll
then
never.
Shohei gets to
see,
fight.
that's where you lose on it. That's where it'll never happen.
I live in America. If you want to fight somebody, then
That's-
if you
that-
both agree to fight
live
somebody,
in
you're a
America.
grown-ass man, then go out there and fight.
Well, again, it would just, if you really want that to actually happen, if you're just saying that to say it and be funny, that's one thing. But if you really want it to actually happen, you
want it
have
to
to
be
do
both.
it like hockey. You have to do it like the Goon movie, right? With Sean William Scott, where basically his job is to go out there and throw hands. That's what it is. Maybe you have a guy, maybe pitches every 5-6 weeks, or 5-6 games. Maybe it's the guy that you bring in, not a position player when you're down by 13 runs, but he's also a Gold Glove boxer against, all right, Blue Jays fighting the Angels.
guy who-
So, hey, you're not fighting.
Yeah.
Hey, little Teasy, go out there and slap
the
this guy
guy
around a little bit.
you wanted to elect the one guy to protect the city.
Yes,
Caesar.
Caesar.
Yeah, right. Wasn't that Caesar who protected the city, but then never let anybody have anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Caesar. They would elect him to protect the city, so each guy would have their own Caesar on the team.
Okay, so that'd be your Caesar position.
But I don't want that. I want
done
if
on
you
your
want
Roman
to fight somebody, if you have a problem with somebody, then you can both accept a duel, a challenge to go out there and fight.
There is no way, with the amount of money that these guys are making, they would even let Shohei
can mix the
Ohtani
contracts up.
think about doing it.
Well, the
Even
contracts
think
would have,
about
there'd
it.
be some verbiage in the contracts that would obviously have to change.
They'd never sign it.
They obviously, that would
You really
obviously
didn't
have
think
to
this one
change.
out. Back to the Booster Club as I head over to the board.
All right, David Atkins says the Buffalo Bills have some of the kind of the same feel as the Green Bay Packers.
Clean yourself up.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna throw all of it.
I like that. I like that from the Bills.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have family from Wisconsin. They're all.
You got
about
the
it.
Bills. You got the Bills winning it, don't you?
I think I do.
I think you did.
think
today.
I thought you said this is the year the
That might
Bills
be
get over the
Bills.
hump.
It might be the Bills. I have to go back and think, but I do think the Bills probably have the best chance
Hey.
to win it.
Well done on your Roman history, by the way.
I appreciate that.
That is pretty. I'm going to be honest with you.
I think you know why I knew that.
Did you
know
watch the
why I knew
Netflix
that?
thing? The Romans.
Nah, he's been
Netflix
watching
thing?
Batman.
Yeah, that's
watching
it.
that.
You
Yeah.
got that off
Hey,
that, man.
learn information however you need to learn it, baby. I like
That's
it.
like the how many quarts are in a gallon the other day. Were you there for that?
Was I there for that? I'm the one who asked you.
That's right. Yeah, that was at
you
your
came
house.
through. Your brother knew how many quarts were in a gallon when I knew
Yeah.
for your engagement party.
You're welcome.
yes.
You're welcome.
We're gonna have a
Google it?
blast.
Did
no,
Google
straight off the dome.
No, he knew
Straight
it.
off the. There
No,
has
we
to
call
be
that-
And it wasn't. He didn't say it with a question mark at the end. He said it like he knew the answer and he was right.
You know what we call that? A guess.
Well, that's fair enough.
You just can't give me anything. You know what I'm saying?
I just told you the Yankees are unstoppable. What else
always
do you
something.
want?
It's a guess. Oh, he's a sociopath. Like it's always.
Oh,
it's
you
always,
brought that up from
Yeah.
way early in the show.
Yeah,
man.
dude.
It's always something.
That one hit deep.
It's
Yeah.
always something. When you
Good.
call someone a sociopath, it usually does, doesn't it?
Well, it shouldn't do it. You shouldn't care.
Like, I mean, gee.
Well, considering you're a sociopath, you shouldn't care. Anyways, here's what I got today. Speaking of the Yankees, if I'm going to show them love in the front end, I'm going to show them love in the back end. -1.5, going up against a guy whose, ERA is
Didn't you
higher.
bet against them yesterday? You
Can I read my picks?
You hate to see
Can I
it,
read my picks?
but you love
Love to see it.
You love to
Can I read my
see it.
picks?
Go ahead, buddy. Okay?
Gosh,
Don't cry.
put you in the cone of silence. Anyway,
It doesn't
the
work.
Yankees
Stop.
minus 1.5. All right, like I said, I'm believing in them. They're going up against a guy who's got an 8.31 ERA. I mean, everything's making sense. Aaron Judge was off yesterday. He's probably coming back today, feeling good about a lot of things. Plus 102? Yankees minus 105, plus 102 with a guy on the mound with an over 8 ERA? Why? If it doesn't work, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to go ahead and tell you because it's a good bet. It's a good bet.
Monologue tomorrow is going to be how the Yankees aren't that good. If they
Well, it's going to be.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Well, you're wrong because tomorrow's Saturday. But anyways, Charlie Morton over 6.5 strikeouts. That's going off at plus 117.
You're taking that?
I'm looking at this. Like they got him going. I forgot what sportsbook it was. If they had him over 10 strikeouts going off at like plus 750. Charlie Morton will mess around and get over 10 strikeouts. I'm telling you, really like this. I'm going double dogs again. Nerfy was good to me yesterday. I feel bad for getting off the Nerfy train today. I noticed the Yanks, Red Sox, Nerfies at like plus 110. That was kind of my third backup pick. But again, 5-7, 111 and 103. Keeping it what, Blaine? Yeah. All right, I'm going to keeping it steady. Cone, how are you keeping it?
All right, let's go. Rays, first 5, -0.5 run at minus 125 with Shane McClanahan on the mound. And then let's hope that Charlie Morton strikes some people out for the Braves because I'm going to take Braves full game minus a run-and-a-half at minus 130. I think maybe Dinkin Flicka got him on Twitter at minus 125.
Get you some, Dinkin.
But either way, bet buds, can you say it? Love it.
Love to see it.
Well, 2-0 yesterday, little Nerfy gods. All
been
right.
hot. You're running.
Go,
Bro, no,
hey, loving the Nerfy. The Nerfy been treating me well.
Well, you were running away with it, but Cone after that, I mean, Cone's kind of hitting some units too. Like
yeah, we're both in the positive. Keep it up.
both in the
Coney.
positive.
Let's have
I'm in the
great
ring.
It's a good
I'm
start.
always
Let's have
in
a
the
great
ring.
month. Let's have a great month.
Let's have a great month.
July is just Blaine like running.
Look,
through
if you have
flowers.
if you have a gambling problem, stop it. Get your money back, and here's how you're gonna do it. The Dodgers and the Cubs minus 106 Nerfy. All right, Keegan Thompson's on the mound. Played against him against high school. Sucks. As in, he's good. Sucked to go against him. 97 straight off the top. Didn't touch anything. Immediately K'd. All right, now I'm going Houston and the A's. Blackburn's on the mound. A couple guys up there are going to shove it. Hey, why would I go away from the Nerfies? Tell me why I would. I'm 8-1 right now in Nerfy land. So I'm gonna stay right there. I'm gonna keep it steady.
You're the Nerfy king. Cone, you already had yours.
This is true.
But I didn't forget that you did it, but you have a speech to give my baby Cone.
well-
I'm going to go ahead and say his bets real quick. He's got the Phillies first 5 -0.5 at minus 105. Then he wants the Giants plus a half at minus 115. 5-7. Baby Cone, he was the winner last month. Papa Cone, tell him what you found.
Well, I walked out of the house this morning and found a note by my keys.
Stud.
For me to read on the show today. There he is. He said, June was fun. Thank y'all for playing. You guys are pros, but no match for a baby. Uncle Jake, Uncle Blaine, you're both still my dudes. But get your unit game up or I'll win July too.
Okay.
Oh, he's dropping bars too.
Dad, you're my hero. And betting with you's a blast. But never forget, if you ain't first, you're last.
Look at that.
There he
stud.
is.
Look at that.
He's got the
stud
"If
right
you ain't
there,
first,
dude.
your last" shirt on. If you're on audio, you got to come check this out on YouTube. Baby Cone, already 5'3", really excited. I believe he just got an offer from North Carolina the other day to play basketball.
Bruce Pearl texts us.
Yeah, Bruce Pearl's trying to get an in-home
Bruce,
already.
let's go. Let's talk.
Come on, come Saturday, Bruce Pearl, in-home Saturday. That'd be pretty sweet.
Ooh.
All right, Booster Club pick tracker. B. Cercio, remember we moved it from 8-0 to 10-0. We gave the 24-hour grace period. That's how we do it around here. So B. Cercio, 8-0. He wants White Sox, Detroit, Nerfy, minus 122. JT Bryan, dude's hit 8-0 twice.
Really?
He's already in the Hall of Fame.
man?
What's your overall, JT? I mean, you're hotter than a...
Isn't that overall in?
Yeah,
Dude's on fire. Burn the Squirtle, 6-0. Never be a Bulbasaur guy. Raise money line, first 5. That's minus 167. Katie Rose, 1191, who she picks my favorite bets to read because she finds really good ones. She finds really good nuggets. Jesus Aguilar, just to get a hit, minus 200, right there at the cap. She wants that to get to 7-0.
Yeah.
You can tell Katie, she's going, look, I rode the Lightning up to this point.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it safe, but sometimes playing it safe is the most dangerous thing
It
to
is.
do, Katie.
It is.
Jay Perkins, 13's 5-0. He wants the Braves and Nats over 5 runs in the first 5 innings. Sammy V is 4-0. Rays Reds. He wants the Reds minus a half first 5 at minus 125. Williams DG 4-0. Yankees money line minus 154. Neftink 3-0. Wants Nats Braves over 9. That's going off at minus 120. The Red Aaron is 2-0. He's anti-nerfy, so the opposite of nerfy, which is no runs first.
So they're going to score in the first inning.
On a Flaming Dragon Friday?
On a flame. Look, I respect it. It's the red Aaron. It's not the blue Aaron. It's the red Aaron. He wants the anti-nerfy Reds Rays plus 110. Did you just call him?
Yeah,
He said
he's
take
gone
him
now.
out.
Aladdin?
Go ahead and take the bet off.
Aladdin?
Yeah. He's
Okay.
Aladdin.
And then Terrell, 549, is 1-0. He wants the Twins, Rangers, money line. That's going off at a cool and theater, minus 120. Good picks there. I also like to say we have a few new members of the Booster Club. I've seen on Twitter as well.
Good.
And remember to check out the merch. Go to thedailywire.com. We got some great merch. You can see the shirts. We got some more stuff coming, and it's about to be even easier to find. Blaine has just rose his hand. Is it Rose? Just raised his hand. Just raised his hand. Blaine, yes.
Andrew Hamill. He said, hey, guys, getting married tomorrow.
Hey, Andrew,
Yes.
congrats.
Congratulations, man.
Enjoy watching you guys today. He says, which college basketball program, do this quick, which basketball program hurts the most from realignment?
Which basketball program? Well, I'm looking at what's going to happen with UNC and Duke. Because if UNC goes to the SEC, and I saw this, I mean, there was a war. My buddy Cole Thompson on Twitter, that just feel like we kind of started a war between North Carolina and Duke fans. I understand people saying that football is the main driver of alignment. I get that. Makes a ton of sense. I get it. It makes all the sense in the world. But I do think there's a basketball aspect to it because basketball does make money. I'm worried about UNC and Duke if they split up, how that's going to work. So that's really kind of where I'm looking.
I just don't think basketball will be affected that much. They already play so many out-of-conference games. They already have these conference challenge tournaments where the Big Ten can play the ACC and things like that. And plus, the best part about college basketball is March Madness. It's the finale. There's 68 spots available. Well, 64 really, but you get the 4 play-ins. So with that many teams, it's like look, Gonzaga, you don't even need to be a Power 5 school. Gonzaga will go in there and beat a lot of teams, right? I mean, Villanova, those schools will come in there and beat a lot of teams. So I just don't think basketball is going to be as affected as much as football.
Let's see.
Max Matterson, is the Hall of Shame now 0-10? Yes, it is.
You are yes. The Hall of Shame is now 0-10, and that is a great question because I did not clarify that. But any parting thoughts on this Flaming Dragon Friday?
I'm excited for tomorrow.
Tomorrow's going to be fun.
Also, I didn't hit this today.
This is Flaming Dragon.
Let's go, Nerfies. Come on, baby.
You
Don't let your
never
boy down
forget
today.
it. You
Let your boy down
never,
today.
ever forget it.
Yep.
And like the Yankees' chances of not winning the World Series,
Are you
using
doing
my dark magic. We're going.